So we're gonna do random facts about South Africa because I've spoken a lot about America. It's time to flip the switch. So number one, random facts about South Africa, and something my friends were like, what? Is that in South Africa you don't really need an invite, but you do need an invite depending on like what you're having. So if I pulled up in the neighborhood of my aunt's house and I just pulled up and I was like, hey, I'm here, she would gladly invite me in and cook food and prep. Even when I was young, I hated this. Those random aunties that would come on a Saturday morning to your house. Instead of your parents getting irritated, yeah, they'll probably gossip every now and then. But one thing they will not do is let you go without eating, unless they really don't have anything. But next random fact about South Africa or South Africans is student loans. Like, don't get me wrong, people do go to college and people do study. And yes, our country is smaller than America. But student loans, I hardly hear people back home speak about student loan debt or student loan debt following them, or just like how crazy or like stressed about student loans. That's not a big thing. There's a lot of like NSFAS, scholarships and sponsorships and all these things. And then I think your parents, well, not I think, your parents also just pay for your studies out of pocket. I thought this is a common one, but clearly it's not. In South Africa, we have quite a few races, and yes, we have white people. I have to explain constantly that it's not my first time seeing white people in America, that we do have white people. And every time I say Charlize Theron is South African, they're like, but is she South African? And I'm like, yes, she is born from South Africa, raised in South Africa. She is South African. And even Elon Musk is South African, and they're like, how is that even possible? And I don't know how to answer it, but South Africans have white people, we have black people, we have colored people, which I know that's like a big topic in America. We have Indian people. We actually have the most Indian people outside of India, hence our curry influence. But yeah, like we do have white people. I don't know, people are more surprised when I say we have white people than when we have Indian people, because they're like, why do you like curry so much? And they're like, you need to go to India. I'm like, no, baby, I have a whole Chatsworth where I come from. And so that's why it's like we have curry in Durban, and we like such a mixed pot in South Africa, which people know, but I don't know why they get surprised when I say we have white people or I have white friends. Another random fact about South Africa is cultural appreciation and appropriation. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist at all, but when you wear different culture clothes, like when I wear a sari and I have my big afro, or is it a Punjabi, the Indian people celebrate that. I used to do henna with my friends and vice versa. I've had my white friends come to traditional events dressed in like Zulu attire, and my family's been so excited about it. So I always say to people, because I know when I was here, I had a friend who wanted to get cornrows, and she's Indian, but she was afraid that it would be considered disrespectful in America or in other countries. But in South Africa, we actually celebrate the fact that you want to learn about the culture, or you want to learn a lot about the culture you're wearing. Now, obviously, if you disrespect the culture, that's a problem. But if you like wearing the clothes, or you're wearing the aprons, or you're wearing this, nobody's gonna come braid your hair. Like, you know, like there's obviously things that are super sacred, like don't be twerking or booty hopping with the Indian daughter. Don't be doing things that obviously make the culture look distasteful or that type of thing. But otherwise, I find it's usually celebrated. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Do you guys get offended if somebody dresses or wears your culture and you're from South Africa? And lastly, in this series, or I think I'm gonna do a part 2. In December, listen, it is hot. It is hot. It's hot in South Africa in December. And every time I sit here, I'm like, man, I grew up in a summer December. And so when I came to America and it was like a winter December, I was like, oh, it's like cute, the snow in the beginning, whatever. But I'm like, I want to be outside. I want to be at the beach. I want to put some shorts on. I want a summer dress for Christmas, I mean. But it's not the case here. And so like whenever I tell my friends I want a warm Christmas, it's so foreign to them. But in South Africa, we have a summer Christmas. And I'm gonna do one last point. we like the country shop, and I think this is not just in South Africa. I feel like in Africa there's a few countries where, I think Nigeria called it Dirty December, and like we call it Cute December, where like everyone is in the Christmas spirit. Companies close down from like the 16th until the 2nd of January or the 3rd of January, or they close down on like the 18th or the 19th, which here I find is different. But yeah, those are a few facts about South Africa. Let me know what else am I missing out. I'm probably going to do a part 2. This is a whole series dedicated to people who are not in South Africa, because I did differences about America. It's time to South Africa. Love y'all.